Occupy Wall Street protesters have been arrested on Tuesday in Boston. Dozens more have been held in Chicago and Washington, D.C. Thousands across America have been rallying for weeks now, attacking corporate greed and Wall Street bank bailouts and profits. Marina Portnard joins me live now from New York. Marina, we're seeing mass arrests of the Occupy Wall Street protesters. How's that affecting the mood of the movement?
Well, Bill, to be quite honest, I think, if anything, it has strengthened the resolve of this Occupy movement. A few hours ago, I just came back from being down on Wall Street in the park where activists have been camping out and sleeping and demonstrating for weeks now. And they seem as committed to this movement as they ever have been before. If anything, I think the arrests have inspired them to fight harder and stronger for democracy, what they say, for democracy, for fair treatment, for balance and equality for all Americans, because that's at the core of what their movement is about, is among those principles that I just mentioned. We did see many police officers every once in a while walk through the park where hundreds of demonstrators have been sleeping, and they would walk through and rip anything down on trees that were hanging up, any signs, anything there. And some of the demonstrators saw that they interpreted it as possibly the police trying to provoke them. But these demonstrators are very committed to not acting violently. They want to demonstrate as peacefully as possible because they don't want any violence to overtake their movement. But of course, we did see that violence break out in Boston, as you mentioned, on Tuesday, where 141 protesters that were taking part in Occupy Boston were arrested. More than 1,000 turned out to demonstrate in conjunction with Occupy Wall Street. Probably the most disturbing video that was seen were police getting quite aggressive with U.S. veterans that were taking part in the movement against corporate interests and corporate influence over U.S. politics. That is what is being clearly still talked about 24 hours later, and I have to say that's probably what's catapulted this Occupy movement to an international level, is all the clashes and the aggressiveness that's been seen between police and peaceful protesters. But to, again, answer the question you asked, I think that, if anything, this movement is committed more now than they were weeks before.
Well, you are there in New York, and it seems like some of the richest and most influential people in that city have made it onto the activist hit list as well.
That's right. We did speak about this a little bit, but to recap, the members of Occupy Wall Street walked through Manhattan, particularly down Park Avenue, and they went door to door to the homes of the 5 wealthiest New York City residents, and that includes the CEO of News Corp, Rupert Murdoch, and also the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon. And as these protesters were walking through the streets, doormen standing outside of the buildings were cheering them on. When they got to the home of Jamie Dimon, there was a police barricade out there, but they continued to demonstrate. And the reason they were demonstrating and going door to door to the wealthiest New Yorkers' homes is because at the end of this year, 2% millionaire tax will expire, meaning the 2% that was required for millionaires to pay, they won't have to pay anymore come 2012. And a lot of these New Yorkers say that this is an indication of how the wealthiest Americans reap the largest rewards, and if they're not going to be paying that mandatory tax, a lot less revenue is going to be coming to New York City and New York State, and the 99%, what they call the 99%, the majority of those living here are going to suffer. And they say that's just an indication of the richest always reaping the benefits and the rewards, and the common American always suffering the consequences.
Marina, thanks very much indeed for that. Marina Portnard live from New York.
Sure.